During the 20-minute bus ride home, Francis talked to himself about the photos he took, the quotes he snagged from interviews, riding with the emergency services to the hospital, and the bomb submission he's going to create over the weekend. Isn't it illegal to let a kid ride in the back of an ambulance for fun? I asked, interrupting his grand tale.
Dude, I ran up there like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. Don't mind me.
He stopped when he realized I wasn't listening. I sat there fidgeting, fighting the urge to curse him out for being self-centered when there were actual families on the street tonight. You know, I was walking around near Bruno's while you were playing Canadian Anderson Cooper. I began talking, whether or not he was listening.
Yeah, and?
Francis said, scrolling through the photos on his DSLR. Well, there was a woman in the alley. It looked like she was homeless because of that fire. He looked over with a quizzical look. Now I got his attention. Yeah, she had no shoes, she was covered in soot, and it was as if her entire world was blown up today. Why was I so emotional about this?
You can't take on someone else's stuff.
Francis placed a hand on my knee. I nudged it off. I didn't take on anything. I used my emergency card to get her and her kids a room for the night. She barely wanted my help anyway, I said, wiping away a tear. Whenever Francis and I took the bus home, we would always come off at his stop, and then he'd walk me home, which was a block away from his. Of course, we both knew the ritual was pretty silly since the bus route also passes my house, but neither of us questioned the tradition we started in grade 7.
Let's stop by my house first,
he said as we walked off the bus.
My mom is making cookies. You need a pick-me-up.
Anytime anything got heavy, Francis needed a pick-me-up. All right, but I can't stay long. I'm actually exhausted, I said. The truth was, I wanted to get home before my mother did to avoid another episode of my underage daughter is having sex with her best friend. I was also extremely annoyed with him. No, Francis and I were not engaging in sexual activity of any kind, but you try telling that to a Jamaican mother who never listens. Francis, I said, shaking off the nerves to yell at him. I would really appreciate it if you would stop dismissing stuff that I say to you, okay? Even if it is something that is not important to you, that does not give you the right to make me feel like I'm overreacting.
Yo, what the hell are you talking about, Emily?
He asked, his reddish blonde eyebrows raising in confusion. What the hell do you mean? What am I talking about? I said. At this point, I stopped walking. I slightly raised my voice, neck roll and hand gesture in full effect. Do not try to play me, Francis, I said. You always do this. Do you know that as my friend, you should try to understand how I am feeling? As my friend, take the time to think maybe there is some validity to what I'm saying instead of brushing me off or pretending as if I'm just being unreasonable.
Em, are you on your period or something?
He laughed as he turned to face me.
What is all of this dramatic behavior for? You need to chill, eh?
Francis, I said, trying very hard to control my anger. I am trying to explain to you how insensitive you can be sometimes.
Just calm down and tell me what I did wrong, Emily. I can't understand what you are saying over the yelling and the neck roll.
My brown eyes locked with his for a quick second, and then we both started laughing. He mimicked my neck roll in his nerdy flagrance and accompanied it with a snap.
So tell me, sis, what's up? Are you still mad about the tiff we had at school?
No. Yes. All I'm saying is that you should hear me out. I only say things because I think they need to be said. You should try to see things from my point of view once in a while.
That's fair, Em, but what about my perspective?
He said as we resumed our walk. What do you mean? I countered.
You don't really listen to what I have to say either.
He said.
I mean, think about it. You're always saying how bad it is that white people are leaders of the country and how white people need to understand their privilege. Sometimes, I think you forget I'm white. Some things you say are really offensive, Em. You can't blame me for history.
Could it be that you're offended because it's the truth and no one has ever been brave enough to tell you? I said in basically a whisper, making eye contact with him.
Whose truth, though? I don't get it. What privilege do I need to understand? Because it seems to me like you are telling me to apologize or feel guilty for being white. I didn't choose to be born white. I am who I am, and frankly, I have no problem with whom I am.
I don't want you to apologize for being white the same way I will not apologize for being black. I love who I am too. What privilege, you ask? Well, simply put, you and I are not the same. You and I do not have the same opportunities. You are privileged in society. Francis looked away and rubbed his head nervously, I guess trying to figure out what to say without hurting my feelings.
I hear what you're saying,
He said, returning to the previous argument.
but honestly, and don't chew my head off for this, I really don't understand why you walk around acting like you've been oppressed all the time. That lady you helped today, she is oppressed. Your parents send you to private school, for God's sakes. There's so many people who would like to be friends with you if you just gave them the chance. Not every white person is out to get you. It's Canada. We live in a multicultural society, Em. It's time you act like it.
I kept walking and remained silent.
Let's be real here.
He continued, following close beside me.
You and I have been friends long enough for me to know that you have had no life-altering experiences of oppression.
I kept walking and remained silent.
Okay, now you're upset and giving me the silent treatment, eh? Not only is this very immature behavior, it can come across as narcissistic.
He said with a shrug of his broad shoulders. I am trying to find the right word so that I do not come across as insolent, although you have completely overstepped almost all the boundaries I have set in this friendship. Now it was his turn to stay quiet. An unintentional smirk greeted my face. Francis, if I'm being honest, I think you have the tendency to be extremely ignorant, I said as calmly as I could. I have been living in Canada for 3 years. Yes, you and I have been friends for 3 years, close friends in fact. I confide in you about a lot of things, and clearly that has provided you with the ammunition you need to speak about my life with extreme arrogance. Rest assured, fam, that there are experiences that I have faced here in Canada that I have deliberately chosen to omit from our daily conversations out of fear that it would make our friendship awkward or out of exhaustion for not wanting to relive the situation. Do not presume to know everything about my life or myself. You know what I allow you to know.
Okay.
He said after about a silent minute. I ignored his sarcastic tone. A few more minutes passed, and then he spoke up.
Let's just agree to disagree, Em. I'm tired of talking about this.
Leave it to Francis to agree to disagree on a topic he had no right to comment on.